So I looked on the internet today and I checked in on Polymega, a company I haven't heard from quite some time. Turns out they released a new product called the Polymega Remix. So the Polymega Remix, retailing at $199, essentially it's a Polymega that doesn't play on a TV. I'm not seeing any I/O in the back. I don't even know if it exists. So according to the website, unleash the ultimate retro gaming experience on the go with Polymega Remix. If you have a compatible gaming device, you're in luck. Polymega Remix is designed just for you. Getting started is easy. Simply connect the Remix base unit via USB, launch the Polymega app, and begin installing your physical retro game collection. With Polymega modules for cartridge-based games and a built-in optical drive for CD/DVD titles, you can easily bring your favorite games to life. Plus, you can plug in original console controllers through the Polymega modules for a truly authentic experience while Remix is connected. Once your collection is ready, just unplug the Remix and take your entire library with you anywhere your device goes. The Polymega app offers the same seamless, premium user experience as the full Polymega base unit. Okay, so yeah, like I said, basically what they're doing is they selling you a $200 piece of hardware to dump your games into legally acquired ROMs to play on their own software. The Polymega app. The DVD part only comes with PS1, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, Neo Geo CD, PC Engine / TurboGrafx CD, and then the Polymega collection. I don't even know what those games are yet. We'll look at those. If you want to dump your cartridges, then that's when we get into this. You need a module for Super Nintendo, you need a module for Nintendo, you need a module for the Genesis, Mega Drive 32X, you need a module for the PC Engine, TurboGrafx, you need another module for the N64, you need another module for the Atari. Any games that you would probably want to play, you're going to have to already either have them on the CD part or you're going to buy these modules, obviously, right? What's included in the box? The base unit, a USB-C to A cable, and a power supply. It says that it runs on Windows devices. In this picture, it shows the Steam Deck. So I imagine the Polymega app will work on Steam Deck. Yes, so it says at launch, Polymega Remix is compatible with Intel-based laptops, handheld gaming PCs like the ROG Ally and Lenovo, and thousands of other Windows-compatible devices, including Intel Macs via Boot Camp. I'm not sure why it's like hard on just Intel PCs or whatever. Instead of saying it works on Intel Macs, just say you need a Boot Camp for Mac for it to work. It's interesting that it won't work on Apple Silicon. I don't know whatever's behind that. That's not important, I guess. Don't say that, don't, yeah. I don't even know why they said it like that. Don't say it works on Intel Macs if you have to Boot Camp. Say it works on Windows. That's misleading when you say it works on Intel Macs. But then if I didn't read past including Intel Macs, then that's on me as a consumer. So yeah, in these pictures, very clearly here, you can see that's a Steam Deck. So maybe they have a Steam app or an app that's compatible with it, or you can run it through Wine, which I guess you could also do on Mac as well. But you know, I don't think they want you to jump through hoops for homebrew. At $199 for a ROM dumper or an ISO dumper, let's just look at some of these consoles real quick. Well, first of all, let's look at the base unit. $549 for the base unit. And that base unit, look at all that I/O in the back that you don't have on the Remix, because it's a stripped down version basically. You can't output it to a TV. What I wanted to look at though are these modules. So let's look at the Ultra module. $89. That's on pre-order. At least you get a controller with that. That's good. $79 for the Super Nintendo. Again, comes with a controller. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty good looking controller, can't lie. I don't usually like a lot of third-party controllers when it comes to Super Nintendo. I like that. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Let's go to Mega. $79. Again, not a terrible controller. I still like the standard 6-button. I think 8BitDo has a good one too. Whatever. You're looking at $80 to $90 per module. An observation of mine is that these motherfuckers picked up a very good time to do this. After Myriad got shut down, where everybody was getting their ROMs from, now they come out with this where you can make legal backups of your games. I thought that was pretty interesting timing. I do think they magically decided to wait until after that whole fiasco was done. If you're gonna dump these though onto a PC, like what is the file type that this is gonna come out as? And I don't think I see any information on that. So if we were to dump these files, like are they files that are gonna work exclusively with the Polymega app? Or is it gonna be like the actual file types that work with other emulators, that kind of thing? I'm curious to see that. Would I get this though? Probably not. I wouldn't get this because it's a very hard sell to say, hey, spend $200 to back up your disk-based game, and then an additional 80 to 90, depending on what module you need, to play your legally owned games as backups on your computer. There's tons of emulators that are already, and piracy is a thing. I'm just gonna be honest. I know people get iffy about saying that, but let's be real, piracy exists. There are other sites besides Myriant where you can get these backups from. But then if you really wanted to be that person that doesn't want to do it, like that wants to do it the legal way, at least like, look, Epilogue has the Super Nintendo operator. I have the GB operator already. That's one way that you can do that. Now, granted, it's not all disc-based and stuff like the Polymega, so there's that, but let me just see how much that would cost. Look, $60. And you can play and back up your legally owned copies of the game. Hell, you can even verify that these are legitimate copies of this too. So why would I can get the Polymega and then buy the module for the Super Nintendo, or I can get the Super Nintendo operator, wait for that to come back in stock, and it seems like they're pretty good about it, and spend a fraction of the cost if I'm just gonna play Super Nintendo. And for the other disc-based games, honestly, like EPSXE, you can pop in a PS1 disc and play it through your disc drive. And most people that build PCs have one. If you're not, an external disc drive is cheap. You don't even need to, like, how fast do the read speeds need to be for a PS1 game? They're not trying to get you to play PS2 games or PS3. So, and that's if you want to do it legitimately. I do think the product looks good. Don't get me wrong. The look ain't enough. Like, that's not enough to get me to be like, yo, you know what? Let's bite the bullet. Let's do it. I know who this is for. I don't know why they would do it. I don't. Because if you own the game already, you can download someone else's like backup because you own the game anyway. Save yourself some steps. Otherwise, like, it's gonna get really expensive if you want to put all these games to play through their specific app and emulator. I don't know. I don't think this is the remix people asked for. It's a neat idea, and maybe it's far too late for something like this. And again, I don't see any pictures with the back of the console. That's the one thing I wish I could see. It doesn't seem to be any other IO except for that USB port and then the power cord. They're really, that's what they're stripping away from it, essentially. I'm sure there's a network port. I don't know. This ain't it, Chief.